What's up everybody, my name's Tyler Potts, and in today's video we're going to be learning to create a react.js income tracker. Now what this app does essentially is it takes an income, so we give it a description. We're going to say a web design. We're going to say it cost us about £3,600, or we actually got paid that, and it came in on the, not the 16th, we'll say the 9th. We add the income, and as you can see we have the income. Now what else this does is if we could say, let's say web design at 4,000, but let's say it actually came in before the 9th, it actually came in at the 7th. So if we add income, you can see, did I call it web design again? Oh, I'm an idiot. Web build. And we got it for 4,000, and this time it came in on the 2nd. So if we add income, you can see it puts it before it. But now let's say we want it one after it. So if we say, well, you don't really care, you just want to pull it into order. But we're just gonna say, let's say if we had, let's say, a newsletter build, but we ain't done it yet, it's coming up in a week, but we're expecting it, so we're gonna add it early. It's gonna only be 2,005 at 22,000. That is insane. And let's say it comes in on the 15th. We're gonna add the income, and as you see, it puts it at the bottom. So it actually sorts by date. So what we're gonna be learning in this video is we're gonna be learning how to use components. We're gonna be learning how to use React forms to create, obviously, the form to take the input. We're gonna be using hooks such as useRef, useState, and also useEffect. We're then going to be going in here and obviously sorting these by the date. We then can remove, add, and obviously add new ones. And we're also totaling it up here. So without further ado, guys, let's carry on with the rest of the video and get started. Okay people, so as with any React project, we've got to start a new one. So we're going to run npx create React app, and we're just going to call it income tracker. Now you can use any form of creating your React app, but this I believe is the best way in my opinion, but it's totally up to you how you create your React app. This isn't a beginner tutorial, so I'm not going to explain to you how you go about getting this to work and stuff like that. I assume you already know how to set up a basic React app. Okay guys, so it has now finished. So the next thing we need to do is actually cd into our area and open it up in Visual Studio Code. Now that is going to open up there. I'm actually going to close this. I accidentally opened up Chrome, my actual temp folder. Let's remove this and let's stack this in here. And then once we've done that, we actually have to run yarn start. Now, if you don't have yarn installed, you can actually use npm and just run npm start, and it will have the same effect. To be fair, it should tell you here what you can use. For me, I'm going to use yarn. So I'm going to say yarn start, and this is going to run our development surfer. As you can see, it says starts the development surfer. So this should load. It should take a second, and it will load all the development surfer stuff. So as you can see, it's doing things in the terminal. If we head over here, we can see our base file. So what we're going to do is we're going to start removing a few things once this is loaded. Okay, that took about 2 seconds, but it's now loaded, and as you can see, we have this basic screen here. So we're going to remove the tests. I'm also going to remove the setup tests. I'm going to go into I'm going to delete the app CSS. I'm going to go into the app, and we're going to remove the logo and that from in here. We're also going to remove the header all the way up to here and remove. Now I'm also going to go and delete the logo from the file directory and the surface worker, but we're going to go into index and actually remove the surface worker from in here and remove its functions. There we go. So now we have a very stripped back system. Now what we need to do is actually paste the CSS in here. So I actually have the CSS already done. You guys can get the CSS if you want to do the exact same styling as me from the GitHub repository, which will be in the link down below. But I'm not going to go over CSS today. I think it's a waste of time for a React tutorial unless you're wanting to learn CSS. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue on with the app. So first things we need to do is we need to import useState from React and also useEffect. Now what we're doing here is we're just grabbing these methods from React so we can use them inside of our app here. And what we're going to say is const. We're going to get a constant. We get two things back from useState. It's going to be income, and we're going to get set income. Now this is going to be an array of our incomes. So every single time we add a new element, it's going to go into here. We're then going to create another one, which is going to be total income. So const total income, and then set total income. Now we're going to use state for this, and this is just going to be a number, so we're going to set it to 0. I'm going to remove this sidebar just for now while we work here. So we've got total income. We can actually set up a couple of things, but the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create a new component now, and this is going to be a header component, and we're actually going to pass the total income to this, and obviously it will be total income. There we go. So let's actually create this new component. So in React, we normally put components inside a components folder and then name it the component name like this. Let's save this over here, and actually let's import header from, and now we're going to do ./components/header, and that's going to import our header. So now this is actually valid there. We're going to use, I'm using an extension called, let's have a look, ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native Snippets. Now you can go install this and you can do the same commands as me. So right here I'm going to say React Functional Component, and that's going to create us a boilerplate straight off the bat. If you don't have that installed and you don't want to install it, you can actually just copy this down now. So what we've got here is we're importing React from React as usual. We've got our header, and we're actually going to pass through the props. Obviously, we're passing through the props here of total income. So we're going to actually destructure it and say total income. So this would normally be a props, but in this case, we'll just go destructure it and bring it there. So we're going to come down here, and the first thing we want to do is I'm going to swap these tags out into header tags. And inside here, we're going to say H1. I'm going to say income tracker. And then we're going to have a div called total income. And in there, we're actually just going to pass a £sign and say total income. Now, if we hit save and we go back, as you can see here, the styling's already kicked in. We've got our title and the total income. Now, this is going to update every single time we update total income inside of our app, as you can see here. So every time this updates, it will update in here. Meaning we don't actually have to do anything else to this component. This component is now complete and we can close it off. Now, the second component we're going to need to create is actually an income form. Now, let's actually create the form quickly. So we're going to say new file, income form.js. And this component, again, we're going to use the React there to just bring it in. I'm just going to go down here, add those because I like having my brackets in. And we're just going to basically start off with the markup. So we're going to go here. We're going to change this to form. It's going to have a class. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was selecting two there. Class name, and it's going to be income form. We're then going to have an on submit, and this is going to be a handler which actually takes it. For now, we're actually not going to do it. We'll do that afterwards. We're then going to have a form inner. This will help with styling. It's nothing else, just for styling though. And then we're going to have a bunch of inputs. So we're going to say input text, and this is going to be the description. So we're going to say desk, and then we're going to have a placeholder which is equal to income description ... And there you go. That's that complete for now. If we create another input of type number, we're going to actually have this as the price, so how much we are getting paid, and a placeholder. Let's close this side panel, side panel, sorry. And we're just going to say price. And then finally, or not finally, we've got two more. We're going to have input date, and this is obviously going to be called date, and a placeholder of income date. Now on Chrome, this placeholder won't appear, but obviously on any other browser, it will appear. We're going to say input type submit, and this is the final input, and we're just going to say add income. Now, if we save here and we go back to our React app, and we go back to our React app, oh, we didn't import, ignore me. We need to import it in here, so we need to actually import in our app the React or the income form, and we need to import it from, and the same place as we imported our header from, but income form. Now under here, we call it again by going income form and hitting save. So if we go back, there you go. So now it has appeared, all its styling and glory, and we can actually type in it. But we don't actually want to just be able to type in it. We need to actually be able to take those values, and when we hit add income, it needs to add it to our top level state here. So we need to actually do a couple of things. We need to create a, well, we need, for starters, we need to pass through our income through to this, and also our set income function. So we're just going to say set income, and there you go. So that's going to take both of these and it's going to pass them down here, so we can actually get those inside our app. So what we're going to do, again, destructuring, we're just going to say income and set income. So now we have both of those, and we're actually going to tab this down because we've got to do some things in here. Now we're actually going to import useRef from React here, and this is another hook which we can use to get reference to, let's say, an input field. Instead of actually creating a useState, which we don't actually need, we can actually use ref, and let me show you how. So we're going to say const, and we're going to say description, and we're going to set this equal to useRef, and this is just going to be null to start with. We're then going to go to our input, and we're just going to say reference is equal to, and all we're going to say is desk. Now if we hit save, and we create that on submit handler, so let's go on submit, and we say not description, so we'll call it something along the lines like add income, because that's what it will be doing. If I can spell add income, if we go up here and we say const add income is equal to a arrow function, and we're just going to pass through e, and what we're going to do is go down here and say e.prevent default. All we're going to do is console log desk. So now we've got that. Let's go back to our app. Let's open up the sidebar. I know it's going to break the layout a little because we haven't catered for mobile yet, but if we go in here and we just say let's actually shrink this because I actually want to see what I'm typing. Let's just say hello, and we click add income. You can see it actually passes this current object, and in this current object we get everything we normally would. Now we can actually go here, we can get the current object, and we can actually get the value. So if we go back now and we then type in hello and we add income, you can say we get the value of this input form. So that's what useRef does. It's like getting the event listener just for that. It's like getting the event for the input field, but we're getting it here, or the target. So it's like using query selector or something like that to get the input field. And that's what we've got here. So let's remove that because we don't need that just yet. And let's actually set up some more references. So also let's close this because it's going to really annoy me. Let's go here and let's just say we need the date. So we're going to see useRef, again, null. And finally, we need one more. Let's just copy that. And this one is going to be the price. Now we've got, oh, not the urus, the price. Perfect. So we've got that and we've got that. Now we need to add in our ref. So we're going to say ref, and this one's going to be price. And this ref is going to be equal to date. Now in our add income, we obviously need to call some functions. The first thing we need to do is we actually need to convert our date to a timestamp. So what we're going to do is say let d equal date. So we're getting that date. We'll say current.value.split. And we're going to split it by this hyphen, because when you get this date back, it's actually hyphenated date. We're then going to get a new date, so new d. It's equal to a new date. And we're going to pass through d, 0. Sorry, that should have been square brackets like I had it before. D1, and obviously D2. So that's going to pass through our date. Once we've got that, we can actually go into set income. We can grab our old income and add it to it. Oh, we missed one thing here, and then we're going to pass back an object, and it's going to be description, which is going to be equal to desk.current.value. We're then going to get the price, which is going to be equal to price.current.value. And finally, we're just going to get the date and pass through new d dot get time. Now, what time does is, oh, sorry, we don't need that. What this is going to do, it's going to actually get us the timestamp instead of getting us an actual date-like object. It's going to get us the timestamp, which is perfect for us because that's what we want. It gets the time in milliseconds, which is perfect. Then, after we've done that, we actually need to go to desk. We need to say current.value is equal to nothing, or, yeah, nothing. We need to get price.current.value, and we're going to set this one to null because we don't want to set it to 0 or anything. And date.current.value, once again, will be set to null because, again, we don't want anything. We could also set desk to null if we want to keep it uniform, but that's fine. We'll leave it like that. So if we go back and we refresh, well, we don't refresh it, refresh itself. We just say something along the lines of web build. We go to a price, we just put anything in there, and we put in a date. And now when we add income, you can see it actually disappears, all of it, which is perfect. So it's actually now added to our set income, but we can't see it, which is an issue. So let's actually display some income. Well, first, let's just see if it works by going income 0 dot desk. Let's just display that there. So when we go in here, it's probably going to error. Yeah, because we need to actually say if income. So we're going to say income 0 dot desk is not equal to null. Then we're going to get that. Else we're just going to pass an empty string. Hit save, go back. Cannot read property of desk of undefined. I think it's actually because we need to check if this is not equal to, or oh, Tyler, you're an idiot, it's an array. Is greater than 0. There you go. So now if we add a new income, let's say test 123, and we go down to 15 and we click add income, you can see it adds tests here. Now if we add another, it won't do anything because we've only inputted one, but we need to output multiple. So that's awesome. So let's remove that. Let's go into here, and we're going to set up another thing. We're going to set up a way of listing out these. So what we need to do is we need to go to our, well, actually, first, let's actually set up a way of setting the total income. So currently, the only way to set the total income is what it currently is. We don't actually change it. And also, I've noticed that is wrong. So we need to change that to set total income. And then we're going to use an effect for this. And we're going to pass through an arrow function. And at the end of this, we're going to pass through a array. And the array is going to have income in it. Now, what this does, what the array says is only call useEffect when it first starts and also when income changes. So once this income here changes, we're going to update our useEffect. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a temp and we're going to set it equal to 0. We're then going to say for let I equal 0, so a standard for loop, and I is less than income.length. We're going to say I++. Now we've got that. So now we just need to go temp plus equal to, and we're going to pass int because I've had issues where it's come through as a string. We're going to get I.price, and we're going to just loop through every single income and add the price up. And then finally, once that for loop's finished, we're just going to set the total income to our temp. And that is all we need to do for that. So now if we go back and we say test, whatever number here, any date, add income, you can see it's gone up here finally. So now that's updated. But let's say we want to add enough for, let's say, £16. Test, 16. The only reason I said that is so it rounds it out. 8, and let's add income. You can see it's rounded it up and added it all together, which is perfect. So that is now working as it should. So we've got our total income working. Now we need to actually call we need to create a new component. The new component needs to be called income list. So what we're going to do here is say income list.js, we're going to use React FCE, and I'm just going to add in that and that. And inside this list, all we're going to do is we're going to give this a class name. We're going to set it equal to income list. We're then going to call some, well, we need to actually pass through some things. So we need income list, and we need to destructure. We're going to have two things come through, income and set income. Now let's go to app, and let's actually add in, let's pull through income list. So we're going to say import income list from component / income list. We're then going to go down here and obviously call it out here. So let's just drop that. We'll just say income list, and we're just going to pass through the two values. So we're just going to say income is equal to income, and set income is equal to set income. There you go. So now we're passing that down, and we're able to access it inside of our component. So we need to set up a couple of things. So we're going to just list out the income first. So we actually need to create another component here. I know, 2 components in less than a minute. That's crazy. Let's add a new file, and this one's going to be called incomeitem.js. And in here, we're just again going to say React functional component, and we're going to get income item. Let's just go here. Let's add that in there. And we're actually just going to start off by getting the date. So when we call this, we're actually going to get through a few values. We're going to get the income, the index, and remove income functions. So that we're going to get let date equal new date, and we're going to pass through the income.date. We're then going to get the day, and we're going to say date is equal to get date. We're then going to say let month equal date.get month, and we're going to plus 1 to this, and we're going to say let year equal date.get full year. Now the reason we added 1 is because this is an array between 0 and 11, and obviously there's 12 months. There's still 12 numbers, but obviously it for some reason does it from 0 to 11. I get that's how programmers work, but come on, it's a date, guys. It's a date. And then we're going to create a handler called remove handle, and we're going to just pass through the I, and we're just going to call remove income, and we're going to pass through the I. So what that's going to do is going to be our remove handler, which is going to be in our income form. We're then going to, so we're going to save that, and now we need to start up our styling. So our class name for this will be our income item. We're then going to have a button with remove item, and in here we're just going to put an X, and we're going to have an on-click event that obviously calls the remove handle. So we're just going to pass through that, say remove handle, and we're going to pass through index. Let's again close that, and I've spelled index wrong. So that's where we've got the button. Now we're going to go to desk. Oh no, of course we're just going to do diff.desk. Nope, it really does want to just create that, doesn't it? God damn it, this is why this is a nuisance. We're going to have a class name of desk, which is obviously going to be our description. So we'll just get income.description. We're then going to have a price. Let's see if this works. Hey, it worked that time. We're going to pass through a £sign or a $sign, whatever you want to currency you want to work. Maybe you can even make that dynamic, so that's up to you. And then a date, which is going to have day plus, and then we're going to have a slash plus. Oh, not enough slash there. Not yet. A month. Now, I'm English, so I write day, month, year, where you guys may write month, day, year. So do it however you feel comfortable writing the month out, and there we go. So that is that done. And that is this whole component done. So this component is now finished. So we need to go back to income list. Now, the reason we created that component first is because we actually need to import it inside of here. So we're actually going to import income item from, and as you guessed it, it's going to be just income item. The reason being is because we're actually already inside the components directory when we're inside income list. I know it gets confusing. Things do get confusing. And the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to set up the component. So we're going to say const remove income. So I know we're going backwards and we're removing it before we're actually adding it, but trust me, it works. So we're going to get this temp. We're going to create a temp income, and we're going to create an income. And what we're going to do is we're going to filter the income, and all we're going to say fee index, so the value and then the index, and we're going to say if the index is not equal to I. So we're going to pass back anything that's not equal to the income we pass through. So if you remember an income item, when we remove it, we pass through the index of that item in the array, and we're just going to remove it from the array once we click delete. We're going to go to income, and we're going to pass through temp. So we're going to reset our whole income every time we remove one and create this. We're then going to start listing out our income. So we're going to go here. We're going to use brackets. We're going to say income.sort. And now we need to pass a function. So we're going to say sort by date. And then we're going to map through that sorted array. And we're going to get the value and the index. And then we're going to just obviously go through. And I've used those. But we actually need to use JSX sort of tags. And then we're going to pass through income item. And we're going to pass through all its things. So we're going to pass a key, because every time you map through an array, you need to give it a key if you're outputting JSX. We're going to call income, and we're just going to pass through the value. We're then going to get the index, and we're going to pass through the index. We're then going to get remove income, which is the function we've passed through, and we're going to pass through remove income. And let's neaten this up by just stacking these down. There's a lot of things here. We can just break these down, and it won't be a problem. I also need to remove that because that just breaks it. Save, and there you go. So you can see this is all, we're sorting this and we're adding the income. Now the issue is if we're not actually sorting anything. Look, it's going to say sort by date. It's not a function. So what we need to do is we need to create a sort by date function. And how we do this, we pass through A and B, the comparing values, and all we do is return A.date minus B.date. Hit save, and that is going to be the complete version of our income tracker. Now let's just start off by saying a web build. Let's say price of 400, very cheap, Jesus. We got it on the 8th, add income. Bam, so you can see web build is coming in. We can remove it, which is awesome. Let's just say test 1, just for these next ones, so we don't have to confuse ourselves with actually what we're making. Add income, so we've got test, say test 2, or test 3, Jesus, we're already going up in life. And test 3, we actually got that on the 7th. So let's add income so it displays before the last one. We're going to get test 2 now, and we're just going to say the price of this is like $4.99. And we actually get this one, let's on the 22nd. So it's actually, we get it quite later, and as you can see, it adds it to the bottom. So as you can see here, the total is working. The income form tracker is working. The form and useRef is working. Everything else is working, and that is the full income tracker. Now, I went quite fast through that, but if you did get stuck, please just drop me a comment down below. Tell me what you thought about this tutorial, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and also leave a comment or hit that notification bell, just so I know you're enjoying these videos, guys. Thank you for watching the video, and peace out.